Patriots Daily is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
May's an interesting one. So I was never, and I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, I remember Drake Maye last year when he came out as broke out as a freshman, being like, are we really doing this with Drake Maye? And then he started doing stuff I didn't think he could do. And he really impressed the second half of last year and the beginning of this season. And then he played a run of kind of bad teams and piled up the numbers. And look, I'm not going to fault the guy for beating bad teams. You need to do that. And it's impressive. He did not end the season on a high note. He had some bad losses. He got loose with the football. I still can't unsee, to your point, that he does a lot of the things Mac Jones does. They just work. And
it's scary.
to work in the ACC, which was a bad conference this year. And he didn't really play any of the best ACC teams. He played Duke. That's pretty much it. And Clemson. He didn't play well against. He has tremendous physical tools. And for that, he is still an elite quarterback prospect. The size, the arm strength, the athletic ability, the speed, that's all there. But he also needs to be able to play quarterback. So, okay, bring up the comment. Gives Mitch Trubisky vibes. I get that. And Sam Howell as well. He's much more physically gifted than Trubisky and Howell were. But I think the concerns are the same. Those two guys did not play a lot of college football. And they came in very raw, and you were essentially buying potential. You weren't really buying on anything tangible with them. I think the hope this year was Maye had so much natural ability that he would give you something tangible from a football skill set to kind of lock in that pick. He kind of did. And there are people who will see what they want to see, and I understand it. But how does some of that circus stuff transfer from the ACC to the NFL? If he can still get away with it, and I'm not saying he can't. If he can transfer that to the NFL, yeah, he's worth the second overall pick. The Justin Herbert comp is spot on. He'll be excellent. But will it transfer? Last point on it. He needs to go to the Senior Bowl. If he shows up and has a big week at the Senior Bowl, it's like, all right, he did it against elite talent. We're good. We move on. If he goes to the Senior Bowl and struggles, there's going to be serious questions about him. If he doesn't go to the Senior Bowl, I'm going to look at that and say, he's worried about struggling. That's a red flag. I need to see Drake Maye go and have a good week at the Senior Bowl. If he does that, yeah, he's QB2 locked in, but he did leave the door open.
Now, the Justin Herbert comp.
Yeah.
Maybe my memory is foggy on Herbert. I don't remember part of his scouting report being like Maye's, where he goes outside of structure so often or to the degree that it really worries you. I felt like it was more that like things are so simple. Can he mentally, adapt to the NFL? And I know there were questions about his demeanor because obviously he's a guy who hates attention and avoids it, like actively avoids attention, despite the fact that people put him on him in negative ways that make absolutely no sense. I'm looking at you, Acho, you weirdo. But that's Herbert. But with Maye, I feel like the physical talents here, like you see the incredible arm strength, you see the easy athleticism. But then I also see where Herbert isn't a guy like a Josh Allen or like a younger Mahomes where he relies on his athleticism. With Herbert, it's more like every once in a while he'll have a crazy run where you're like, right, this guy is 6'5". Like he's a massive and he is fast. Whereas with Maye, I started to kind of watch him a little bit more. And I realized sometimes this guy is trying to run away from pressure and it works, but not oftentimes, but there's more times than I expected where it doesn't. And when you're in college and you're trying to escape pass rushers and you can't on any kind of consistent basis, but you're someone who tries to use your athleticism, that's like, okay, at the NFL, people are only going to get faster. So obviously it's like a Caleb Williams situation where like you can coach that out of him, but is it really quite the same? Because I've seen so many Justin Herbert comps. I feel like you look at them, it's like tall white kid who's pretty athletic and, can throw a pretty ball. I feel like that's where a lot of it comes from, but I also feel like the things that scare you are more prominent with Maye than they were for Herbert, because with Herbert, it was more mental. Well, I guess both are technically mental, but it was more, can he catch up rather than can he kind of pull back on some of the stuff that worries you?
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.